If you have peeling clear coat, then you know that it doesn't look that good. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about changing the peeling clear coat on my car. So let's jump into the video. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Drive Talk Cars. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to repair peeling clear coat. On my particular car, it is on the E63 and it's on the front bumper. As you can see here, there's a few spots that are starting to peel. Some are bigger than others, and the paint is actually still good. So I really don't want to repaint the whole car. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some spot clear coating and see if that works. If it doesn't, then we know what we have to do, and we have to prep the whole thing, repaint and all that. But in today's video, we're just going to do the spot clear coating. So let's see the tools that we need to do this task, and let's get started. So the first tool we're going to need is sandpaper. I have various grades here, starting at 600, 800, 1000, and 1500. You can do 1200, but basically we're just going from a rough to a very fine sand. And then we're going to need soapy water. This is to apply with the sandpaper so we can get a wet sand. Then you're going to need masking tape to mask off the areas, as well as some type of masking paper. You're going to need some type of prep solvent or something that can remove the contaminants, as well as waxes and oils before you apply your clear coat. And of course, microfiber cloths. We always need those. The heating gun, this is to heat up the area in case you're in a humid area or it's kind of cold out. You want the surface to not be too cold. You'll need a DA polisher as well as a polishing compound. And finally, you're going to need a hand applicator as well as a top polish, some type of wax or something to seal it off. And those are your tools. So step one of the process is going to be doing a wet sand. If you're not familiar with a wet sand, basically you wet the sandpaper and the surface, and then you sand down the surface. And that's pretty much it. We're going to start with a 600 grit sandpaper, and then we're going to work our way up to a finer sandpaper. So let's get started. All right, so on the silver car it's a little hard to see, but I have a spot here, here, here. Yeah, and so it's starting all of this, and right here and right here. So I'm going to sand these spots down with the wet sand and see what we get. I sprayed a sandpaper as well to wet it down. So we're trying to just smooth it out. We don't want to take too much of the paint. We're just trying to smooth out the rough edges around the peeling clear coat. Remember to keep the sandpaper and the surface wet. And you don't want too aggressive of a sandpaper, because then you start taking away the base coat, and we don't want that. We're just trying to get the edges to a smooth, flat surface. As you can see here, kind of went too deep, so we're going to need touch-up paint for that. And it's probably because it's on that ridge there, which has probably less paint than the other section, like the flat surface section. All right, now we're going to switch to a 800 grit sandpaper, and then from there we're going to go to 1000 and then maybe 1500. Alright, so let's dry it off or wipe it down and see what we got. So it looks pretty good. The scariest part is this here, the edge. As you can see, we went through the paint, so I'm gonna have to do some touch up. And then this corner here has a little bit of peel still left, but the flat parts did good. So step one's done. We did the sanding. We started with the 600, but then I went to 400 and then back to 6, and then I did an 8 grit and then 1,000 grit. And that has given us a very smooth finish. All right, one of the trouble areas that we ran into was the ridge here of where it bends over. That's probably going to be a sensitive area when you on anything that has that curve. I'm thinking because there's not a lot of paint buildup right there, a lot of layers of paint. So it's kind of thin, and you're going to eat through that a lot faster than you would here. So that's one area I'm going to have to do some touch up on. But for the most part, it did good. So now step 2 is to wipe it down with a solvent that dissolves all the contaminants, oils, waxes, anything that may be on the bumper. And then we can clear coat. So let's get going. You want to make sure you get all contaminants off before the clear coat process. That way you can make sure that you have a good surface for the new clear coat to stick to. All right, so the next step is going to be to mask off lights, grill, anything that you don't want to get clear coat on. So I'm just using masking tape, a little masking paper, and that should do the trick. So we have it all masked off now. Now it's time to hit it with the clear coat. But before we do, we're gonna hit it one more time with the prep solvent to remove any contaminants or maybe oils from your hand that you might have put on the surfaces. And you wanna even hit the spaces that you have not necessarily sand. You still wanna hit them with the solvent so they're good to go. All right, so now we're ready to hit it with the clear coat. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is hit it with the heating gun to kind of get the temperature up since it is cold outside. First, we're gonna do a light dusting. And wait about 10 minutes for this to dry. And then we're gonna come back and hit it with another coat. This time, the next coat is gonna be a heavier coat and more even. All right, so this is the third coat and we can still see the areas that were sanded down. I'm hoping that will go away once it dry and I do my wet sand. All right, so we've done 3 coats of the lacquer. We're gonna wait for 24 hours. We're gonna come back and then we're gonna do a wet sand and we're gonna polish and see the final results. In the meantime, if you like content like this, DIYs, mods, and other car-related things, please click that subscribe button as well as notification bell. That way you don't miss out on anything. It's been 24 hours, so let's check out the results. All right, so here are the results from yesterday. It's not looking good, to be honest. Not the results that I thought would happen. So the results didn't come out as desired. This is my first time just doing the clear coat and trying to do like a spot clear coating to fix this peel issue. I have done it before where I did a complete sand down, prime, base coat, and clear coat, and results came out perfect. But I wanted to try the spot clear coating to see if it could actually work. And for me, it did not. Hopefully you can see this video and see what not to do, or to even see if it will work. I wanted to keep it honest with you guys and show you the results as is. So here they are. Now, I do have to do a wet sand and then a polish. I'm not sure if that's gonna help it. I'm not exactly sure why I have these lines around there. It is smooth. It's a smooth surface. Maybe it's because it's silver. Maybe because I waited too late to do this particular job and the paints are too different now in color. But if you know anything or any tips other than just redoing the whole bumper, which we're probably gonna do, so stay tuned for that video. Please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear anything that you guys have to say in regards to what possibly went wrong or if this is normal. So I guess I'm just gonna continue on, do the wet sand and the polish, and I'll show you the absolute final after doing all those procedures. So let's jump into it. So now that it's dry for 24 hours, we're gonna do a wet sand again using a 1000 grit sandpaper. This is just to get rid of all that orange peel. And we're doing the whole surface so we make sure that there's no orange peel anywhere. Alright, so after sanding down using the 100 grit sandpaper, we have all the low spots removed. It's nice and smooth and flat. So now we're going to use our polisher and a DA polisher if you have it, or any type of polisher you have, and buff it out. So let's get started.